Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Circle of Experts, where we feature entrepreneurs, small business owners, coaches, CEOs who share deep secrets for business success. And that could range from anything from strategy to mindset. We talk about business and how to succeed. And I'm really, really excited because it's another episode of the Circle of Experts, episode 7. And I'm excited to present Mimie Wallace, who will be joining us in this episode. Welcome, Mimie.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello, everyone. Hello, Dr. Melissa. How are you?
Oh, great. Yes, I'm great, thanks. There was a little lag in the sound. So we'd like to welcome you, Mimie. And before I tell you more about Mimie and what she does, and we dive into the deep end of things, let me just get some house cleaning out of the way. I want to thank those of you who have already subscribed to our channel. And for those of you who are new, viewers that are new, welcome. And please do subscribe so that you can get our future notifications. Great. So wonderful. So for this episode, we will be talking to an HR professional. Mimie, I'll tell you a little about her, and then I will open the floor to her, in other words. So Mimie is an accomplished HR professional with over 16 years experience in various sectors and industries. And she started her career with a degree in psychology. Her first role was in HR as a payroll HR administrator, and she later progressed into more senior level roles. Now, during her professional life, she has undertaken studies to bolster her experience, such as an MSc in organizational psychology, as well as a CIPD qualification. Well done, Mimie. Right now, she owns an HR support business, which helps small businesses with up to 30 employees get legal. And we know that this right now is a crucial area, and we'll be talking more about that. Now, what that involves is that she provides them with HR, all the HR that they need to become compliant. So what she offers is a compliant pack which contains the basics that small business owners need to make sure that their businesses are HR compliant. So I am so happy to speak with Mimie because we do share something in common. I also have a background in HR and a master's in HR.
Oh, wonderful. Welcome. That's wonderful.
Yes. So I really want to welcome you to this episode, Mimie, and it's a pleasure to have you here. And we look forward to diving to the deep end of things for the next 30 minutes. So as obviously you have a strong HR background, as you can see, and I would love to hear your thoughts on what do you think is the current HR environment within the small business arena right now?
Firstly, I'd just like to apologise. My husband walked past to get a beverage from the fridge, so I do
That's fine. That's all right. Working from home. That's
exactly.
That's
these are the pitfalls.
Yes.
So, I mean, in terms of the current HR environment, I would say it's not particular to small businesses, in the sense that obviously with the current pandemic happening, there's a lot of pressure on HR at the moment. It's very high pressure.
Definitely.
It's a very critical situation, and we constantly have to get to grips and be on top of the ever-changing legislation and HR practices that are always happening, because obviously the government is still feeling things out and things are still evolving. So in terms of the current HR environment, I don't think it's necessarily specific to small businesses, like I said. It's just a very critical time, a very high pressure time, and we have to make sure that we're on top of everything that's occurring. So, it's a tricky time, but to be fair, it's tricky for a lot of industries at the moment.
Definitely. They're tricky for everyone. So with you now, because you focus on the small businesses. So, what would you say led you to provide HR services to the small business sector then?
I've worked in many industries and throughout my career, large businesses, small businesses. And in the last couple of years, it's been mainly small businesses. And I found that the main issues with them, or the main reason why I focus on small businesses, because I think sometimes, maybe based on their size, there's almost this illusion that they don't need HR as much as perhaps a bigger establishment, more people. And the moment you start to hire people, HR is relevant. Even before
Definitely.
you start, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And even before you start hiring people, you should probably be proactive enough to start thinking about what sort of HR practices you should be putting in place. So I think sometimes there's still this perception. A lot of small business owners don't necessarily put that importance on HR, or perhaps don't have that interest in HR. I think they perhaps can get away with it because they're a very small organisation.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the reasons why I focus on them.
Okay. So what would you say are some of the issues that small businesses tend to overlook when it comes to HR?
Well, HR in general, like I said, I think they overlook it. I mean, it's a very big generalization, because obviously not all small businesses are the same, and sometimes certain industries have a certain culture. But I think, like I said, based on their size, they may not put a lot of importance on HR generally. And also contracts as well. I find that a lot of businesses will delay giving out contracts. They might, delay doing that. Whereas I think big organisations tend to be a little bit more on top of that. So it's just more kind of maybe just not an ignorance, that's the wrong word, but perhaps just a lack of knowledge of how important it is, irrelevant of your size, to make sure that the contracts are in place, basic policies are in place. Those are the two things I find that a lot of small businesses tend to overlook. But like I say, there is just a lack of importance put on HR in general. Sometimes.
So that's right. That's great what you shared. So in other words, what I'm understanding as well, part and parcel of what you're doing at the moment is also raising an awareness to small business owners on the importance of HR.
Correct. Yes, that's definitely it. I mean, that's it in a nutshell, definitely. There is a lack of awareness, and I think, like I said before, bigger corporation, bigger organization, they seem to have more of awareness because there's perhaps more legal implications. But, things are changing, especially with the current situation. There's so many things to consider. And I think people are starting to realize, oh God, we really need to take in consideration our HR practices, especially if you've got employees who are working from home, especially when, the whole furlough rules are changing or ending. And legislation at the moment is changing all the time. And people are realizing that perhaps they could rest on their laurels in the past, but now, unless you get on top of it, you could be left behind, and there's repercussions that would come with that as well.
Very, very true. So those small businesses that you have approached, how would you say they have? How have they taken your input? How have they accepted it? Do you find any resistance to what is it that you're sharing with them? Are they resistant, or are they open to that constructive feedback and raising that awareness of the importance of HR?
Well, I've been lucky. I mean,
in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky. The small business owners that have approached me that I've worked with so far have approached me. So I've had a business for a couple of years now, and it's evolved from career coaching, return to work coaching, to where it is now, where I focus mainly on HR. So this particular service that I'm providing is relatively new in the space of past couple of months. But the reason why I came to this conclusion, because a lot of people were approaching me saying, oh God, especially with the current situation, this is the help that I need. So I've found that small business owners, have been very receptive. They've come to me. They've started to realize, oh God, we've not put all this in place. We could have got away with it before because we weren't in the midst of a pandemic. But now we've got all these situations occurring. We've got people refusing to come to work. We've got people who are stressed. We've got legislation around furlough we don't understand. Okay, we need to speak to somebody who knows HR and who can help us. So they've been very receptive and very open to what I've had to offer. I try to not complicate things, and I think that's one of the things that's seen me in good stead.
Now I want to piggyback on something that you just mentioned, and I think that's something that our viewers ought to focus on and realize. One of the important things in achieving success in business is being flexible and being able to adapt to the environment. And I must commend you because I find that really courageous, where you were in one niche and you evolved into this to respond to the environment. And bearing in mind that the current environment that we have is something that's going to be around for a while, you know, COVID-19 is not going to go away immediately. So I must commend you on being able to take your business and adapt it and evolve into and provide a service in which you recognize, based on the people that were coming to you, is a service that is needed. So how was that transformation for you? I would love to hear.
It was very hard. It was difficult. It wasn't easy. There was so much to consider. And I think at one point I thought to myself, you know, as you're aware as a business owner, it's a very difficult thing to do. There's a certain level of resilience that you need, and a certain level of persistence as well. And I think I was coming to the point where I was like, maybe this isn't for me. But then something told me in the back of my mind, I don't want to get all kind of hippie about it or anything. It's just instinctively, it wasn't necessarily that it wasn't for me per se, but what I was doing at the time perhaps wasn't working, or just had plateaued, etc. So my personal situation at the time, I was working part-time as a HR manager for an architectural practice. I was on maternity leave, and then when I came back on from maternity leave, I was furloughed. And then during the course of that time, I left. You know, I decided to leave. It wasn't the right situation for me. So my business moved from being a side hustle to a full-time hustle.
Full-time.
Yeah. So, and I've got my third child on the way. So
yes, congratulations.
Thank you. So I really had to. I was in a situation where I really had to think, what will work for me right now? What am I passionate about? What am I good about? And what am I good at? What's been working, what I've been doing recently hasn't necessarily been falling into place. And people, while I was in this process, on this journey, were contacting me for HR advice, for HR help. And I thought, okay, why have I been moving away from my HR? It clearly is, I'm good at it. You know, it's people I've worked for before, word of mouth. So why don't I go back to basics and utilize my core HR experience and take it from there? So that was the inspiration in terms of the new angle in my business, and obviously my professional situation, leaving my job, and my personal situation in terms of having my third baby. So all these three things really motivated me to pivot and evolve the business to where it is now.
Wow, that's beautiful. And it's like all these factors come together and perfectly aligned.
Exactly. Indeed.
And I'm sure you can attest that it's quite rewarding, because right now you're probably feeling like you're in perfect alignment with your life vision, your life purpose.
Definitely. It's a weird feeling, because you know, what I was doing before, it was interconnected. There's still a bit of HR in there, but, you know, I felt passionate about that. But it just feels different. It feels, okay, this is what I was meant to do. There's still a struggle, because I think when you're building a business, that's always going to be a part of it, you know. But it does feel right. And it does feel, you know, even people have said to me, oh, Mimie, this is, you know, excellent direction for you. And, you know, the fact that people are now drawn to me even more, it's all falling into place, and I'm just really happy with the way things are going at the moment.
That's wonderful. I mean, like the saying goes, I think you found your sweet spot.
Yes, indeed. That's a wonderful expression. That really does sum it up. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Yes. So then, I would love to know, how do you go about now helping those small businesses to get legal and protect their business?
So on a practical level, it's because my ethos is basically just keeping things simple. I have got a very no-nonsense approach to HR, not an aggressive or assertive, but not an aggressive way. Just I'm very transparent, I'm very direct. And I think a lot of small businesses, like I was saying to you before, they can, especially if they're starting up, because I support businesses up to 30 employees. So that there's sometimes startups or small businesses that have been around for a little while but haven't really established themselves in terms of HR, etc. So I provide them with, I help them with their contracts, establish their contracts, basic policies and procedures to get them up and running, and checklists in terms of how to do things from induction, recruitment, etc., etc. So really sort of basic foundations and underpinnings of HR. That's what I help them with. Whether they choose to take me on after that to help them continue to support that, that's fine. But the idea is that I give them the tools, and they shouldn't need me. They can just do, apply what they need to with that and run away with it. Fine. So that's how I support them. So I'm a little bit different from a standard HR consultant in that way.
Okay, that's great. And then, of course, if they need you for more personal coaching for their managers, they do have that option that they can work with you at a more personal level.
That's correct. So my initial thing at the moment, I provide these packs to help them start off their HR, and if they need continued support, I can provide that on a monthly basis for a very affordable price. And that would also be inclusive of any training or whatever it is they need. I have several packages which give them what they need, from bronze, silver to gold. So yeah,
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So I'd like to say to any of our viewers who are watching, if you do have a small business and you have up to 30 employees and you've been struggling with your HR, that you should reach out to Mimie Wallace. And you can find her on LinkedIn. If you want to get HR compliant, you should reach out to her. Don't wait until you find yourself in any legal battles or any troubles because of, contracts. I mean, this is a top issue, especially the contracts issue. It's a top issue for a lot of small businesses that they fail to, immediately get on top of. So I think what you're doing is wonderful, Mimie.
It's just about being proactive, really. Not just sort of the reactionary type of situation that a lot of businesses might find themselves in. If something happens, then they start to look to their HR. It's about establishing those good foundations initially before it gets to a point where there might be any sort of legal vulnerabilities.
Excellent. So what would you say in your own words, your opinion would be your top millionaire advice for success? Now, I ask all interviewees this question. And the reason I do is I believe for, every individual, we have, if you want to call it a method, if you want to call it a principle or a concept that we stand on, and if you were to apply that concept to your life or to your business or whatever it is, goal that you're working towards, you can achieve success. Like Think and Grow Rich, that's the concept that he stands on. So what would you say for you is that advice that you value as a top millionaire advice for success?
I don't know if I can pick one thing, but two things really I would say. The first one would be the resilience, like I mentioned before. I was told before I started a business, it's hard setting up a business. Okay, yeah, it's hard. But my God, it really is hard. It does, it can really push you to a very kind of emotional, psychological, physically demanding place. It is tough. It's tough. So I would say resilience, really find all that you need, or whoever you need, what you need to give you that strength to, whenever you feel like, I can't do this anymore, just to give you that motivation to continue. There'll be a lot of hard knocks, but you just keep on pushing through. So you need to have that inner resilience, I would say, to success, because you might see stories on LinkedIn like, oh yeah, after 6 months I was starting to earn 10K a month. Okay, that's wonderful, and I'm sure that happens for business owners out there, but a lot of people, including myself, it wasn't a smooth journey, and I'm still building up the business as we speak. But in order to do that and to survive that, you really need a resilience, a strength of character, really. And that isn't necessarily an innate quality. Sometimes you can learn that during the course of, trying to establish the business as well. So that would be the first thing. That would be the first thing I would say. And the second thing I would say that I've probably just learned relatively recently in the grand scheme of things is about being authentic. It's being yourself. I feel that when I first started LinkedIn, I thought I had to have like a corporate image, certain look, etc. But when I think about it, I've never really been conventional in that sense. I worked in HR, I had long dreadlocks. I've always been a little bit quirky, and I think that once I truly started realizing that all business owners, there's so many out there, and we don't all have to look or act the same or be the same to attract our ideal client. And if anything, we're more likely to attract our ideal client by being authentic and being ourselves.
That's right.
So I've learned that in, you know, the past few months really, and that's why you'll sort of see me in my posts that talk about, you know, the music I like, and I talk about I have a different sort of approach to HR, how I'm an introvert. You know, you can see my husband walk past and get something from the fridge, you know. You might see
Yes.
you might see my cat, or, you know, pop up on a Zoom call, you know. It's I'm not talking about being unprofessional, I'm just talking about, you know,
Of course.
showing people who you are, you know, within reason. So I would say for me, those have been the two qualities that have seen me in good stead, and continue to.
Yes, these are two excellent qualities indeed. With the inner resilience, it's something too that I had to work through even when I started my business. And, you know, as part of that inner resilience is your mindset as well. And it wasn't until that I really began taking my mindset issues, if I can refer to it as thus, seriously. It was only then that I started to generate revenue in my business, because my mindset was preventing me from generating revenue. So although I was putting in the work, part of the inner resilience is, like you say, keep at it, you keep pushing, you keep doing what you need to do, but you also need to keep it equally with your mindset. You have to keep it right during that entire process, because like you said, it can take you to a really dark place emotionally, and even physically when starting a business.
You summed it up beautifully, Dr. Melissa. You summed it up, because the mindset is the biggest thing, and it's something you struggle with. And even when you get to a point when you've improved it, you may still have moments, if there's any bumps in the road, because that's life and that's business, right, where you still need to work on it again and again. And it's just about that inner persistence, that inner resilience once again. But in a way, having a business and growing a business is a beautiful kind of personal development experience, because I've learned so much. I pride myself on always being quite self-aware, but I feel like I've learned even more about myself, because I've never been a business owner before. So this has unlocked another aspect of myself that I've been able to look at. And it's been great. It's been great. I'm enjoying the journey so far.
I support you on that, you know, and as you're speaking, I'm recalling my own experience. And well, before starting my business, I worked as an assistant HR manager as well. And having kids, I was finishing my doctoral degree, had my 4th child. So definitely going back out there wasn't an option. And I thought, okay, I'm going to start a business. And Mimie, I recall my very first week, I was building my website and I cried every night because coming online was totally different to being in the office.
It's definitely. Oh, God. And don't get me started on websites. Oh, my Lord. God. So stressful.
I cried every night because I was completing my doctorate. I didn't have the finances to say I can outsource completely building my website at that time, right? So I decided, hey, I'm going to take this task on myself and watch how many YouTube videos, you know, and it was painful. But when I look back then to where I am now, I am in total agreement with you that it's a beautiful thing, because you learn so much. And although and I think it's an opportunity, a beautiful opportunity to wear those different hats. So you get to learn about marketing, you get to learn about copywriting, you get to learn about visibility. It's wonderful.
It really is. Again, you know, you really have summarized it perfectly there. Just so many other, you know, skills that you learn along the way, as well as the personal development aspect, and the, you know, it's fantastic. It really is. It really is.
Right. And one last thing before I invite you to promote your offer. When you talked about authenticity, that really resonated with me, Mimie. And the reason it resonated with me so much is because there was a time I used to hear so many people on LinkedIn talking about, you know, those videos, those short 2-3 minute videos, and they're talking about fake it till you make it. And personally, I am in total opposition to fake it till you make it. I understand what the concept behind what they want to say, but I don't think it's a fake it till you make it. I believe you should be authentic, and you can believe that you receive whatever it is that you.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
And yes, you be authentic. You can believe that you receive your goal. You can act like, okay, I'm going to act like I'm successful, believe I'm successful, behave successful, think successful, or think rich, or whatever it is you want to do, whatever is your goal. But I'm totally in a position to fake it till you make it. So I love your top advice, your top millionaire advice on being authentic, because I believe if you're authentic, then you will attract the right client towards you.
And you know, it's weird. When I was younger, I used to go, "Oh, fake it till you make it." Oh, yeah, maybe that's a good advice. And then as I got older, I'm like, "Well, no," because you're trying to be something that you're not. Just be who you are. Learn what you need to along the way. I remember seeing a quote that said, "Oh, if there's a job or something that you like, that you have no skills, just apply for it. Just fake it, and then it will come." And I was like, "That's the worst advice you can give anyone, because if you fail at that will impact." So I totally agree with you. It's strange because there was a time I thought, "Oh, that makes sense," but no, just be who you are, be honest. And some people won't like it. Some people are like, "Oh no, you're not good enough," or this, that, and the other. That's fine. Not everyone's going to like you, but the ones that do, and the ones that are attracted to you, there are your clients. Those are the people that you need to be meeting with. Yeah. Excellent advice, Mimie. Thank you so much. And now I want to open the floor to you to present your offer to our viewers. So if you have a business, or you want to start a business and you need to get HR compliant, you need to follow Mimie. So go right ahead and present your offer to our viewers. Currently, I offer HR, all you need to be compliant packs, which basically consist of the basic HR documentation, etc., that you need to set yourself up in terms of your HR, so that you're covered, everything's nice and compliant and legal, and no ramifications in that respect. It includes policy templates, checklists, procedural details, and that you can have. And if you want me to complete that for you, I can do that as well. But initially, it's something that you can take away and do yourself in your own time, designed for you to be able to do that within 48 hours. I mean, look how amazing that is. A lot of people, when they think about establishing HR, they think, "Oh, it's a long process." But I'm making it easy for you. It's something that you could probably get it established.
I'm losing your sound, Mimie. I'm losing you.
So I'll come a bit closer. But it's something that it's made easy for you in terms of establishing your HR, and also it's something that you can hopefully do within just a couple of days. It's September, so my offer actually for this month, which I've already posted a few weeks ago, was there's a 10% off as well. So you can also utilize that if you purchase that within the month of September. So if you'd like to know more details about that, I do actually have a product checklist which will show you more explicitly what it is I did need to offer. And there's some other packages coming along the way, but for now, that's what I want to tell you about.
Thank you so much, Mimie, for sharing. So like Mimie mentioned, if you want to know more, head over to LinkedIn. Are you also on Facebook and Instagram, or is your primary focus on LinkedIn?
But my main focus is on LinkedIn, but I do have a presence on Facebook and Instagram,
Right. So you can find on the social media platforms, preferably LinkedIn. You can reach out to Mimie. You can get her product checklist. You can find out more about her, all you need to be compliant packs, and take your business to the next level to ensure that you're HR compliant. And Mimie, it was a wonderful chat with you. I'm so grateful to have had this opportunity to speak with you. Any last words that you'd like to leave with our viewers?
So likewise, I'm very happy to have had a discussion with you as well. I've seen your LinkedIn for a long time.
Thank you.
I'm very happy. Any last words? It's just, any business owners out there, small business owners, keep on pushing. If you are hitting any sort of roadblocks, any obstacles, keep on at it. This road isn't designed for the faint-hearted. If it was, everyone would be open a business. So keep on at it. And if you're really struggling with your HR, you know where to find me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mimie, and thank you to all viewers. Remember to subscribe, and bye for now.